Good morning. It is a privilege for us to be with you today and bring to you, through flags, music, and narration, the Patriotic Service Committee's Parade of Flags, representing the history, heritage, and ideals that are foundation of our founding fathers of this great nation. The ensigns of many countries waved over our land before the first flags were adopted by our colonial forefathers. But it was not until June 14, 1777, that Congress made the flag of the United States official. Resolved that the flag of the 13 states, by 13 stripes, alternate red and white, that the Union be 13 stars, white in a field of blue, representing a new constellation. Let us review some of the famous flags in our history, which lead up to the first official flag, and those that have developed thereafter. Can you hear me now? The first flags to appear on this continent were those of the great seafaring nation. Nearly 500 years before Columbus, Leif Erikson and 35 Norsemen explored New England and the Long Island coast. These Vikings had no compass or sextant, so to find the direction of land, they released a raven from their ships and then followed it as it winged straight for the nearest land. Thus, the raven became the emblem of the Viking banner. Spain goes the honor of encouraging great exploring expeditions. As you know, Columbus landed at San Salvador, now Watling Island, on October the 12th, 1492, with his 120 men and 3 ships. The emblem on Columbus's flag represented the 2 principal provinces of Spain, Castile and Leon. Under the same banner, Balboa discovered the Pacific, Ponce de Leon discovered Florida, and Magellan circled the globe. However, it was 100 years before the first settlers arrived on our shores, still using the same flag. England, too, before settling here, did much exploring of our coast. First under John Cabot and then Captain John Smith. Cabot's flag was the first British to fly over the mainland of America. John Smith flew the same flag over the Jamestown settlement in 1607. This banner, under which all the English colonizations of America was effected, is composed of the Red Cross of St. George on a white field, for centuries the flag of England, superimposed on the flag of Scotland, the White Cross of St. Andrew on a blue field. The Grand Union flag remained the flag of the colonies for more than 100 years. About 25 years after Columbus, the French too came to explore America, but the only settlement they made was in Florida, and it was soon destroyed by the Spaniards. However, this attempt laid the foundation for Champlain's expedition, which did establish a colony in the Gulf of St. Lawrence region in 1608. In all of these attempts, the fleur-de-lis banner was used. The 3 irises, or the poor man's orchids, were established by Charles V in 1376 in honor of the Trinity. Henry Hudson, an Englishman in the employ of Holland, explored the Delaware and Hudson rivers in 1609 while attempting to find a water route to the Far East. Consequently, the Dutch laid claim to the Hudson River region and established a colony there in 1626. They landed on Manhattan Island, which they bought from the Indians for $24 worth of red cloth and trinkets. The center stripe of the flag of Holland bore the letters AOC, which were the initials of the Dutch East India Company. In Dutch, Algemeen Oost-Indisch Compagnie. Organized the New Sweden Company, and in 1636 sailed with 3 ships from Göteborg to the Delaware River, where he planted several settlements. His historic banner, a gold cross on a blue field, is to this day the national flag of Sweden. In the beginning, the American colonies never thought of separating from the mother country. Individually, the colonies sought redress of the unfair treatment of the British king and his council. Since it was not forthcoming, the idea of complete separation and independence evolved. One of the first flags raised against England by the colonies was in Taunton, Massachusetts. The British red ensign with the words "Liberty and Union" inscribed across the lower part of the field was one of the first of a series of flags that showed the trend of the times and the temperament of the people, and the temper of the people. When the Minutemen of Bedford, Massachusetts rushed to Lexington on that fateful day of April 19, 1775, to oppose the British regulars, they carried the Bedford flag. The Latin words on the scroll translated mean "conquer or die." This was the spirit of the brave Minutemen who fired the shot heard around the world. And as the feeling against the English increased, so did the desire to get away completely from the British influences in the colonial banners. The pine tree, emblematic of the sterling qualities of sturdy manhood in New England, replaced the British devices. This famous Bunker Hill flag was one of the first to incorporate the new sign. Today, Maine is called the Pine Tree State. The southern colonies produced a number of flags using the rattlesnake as a symbol to typify the spirit of eternal vigilance. Colonel Christopher Gadsden from South Carolina added the words, "Don't tread on me," in answer to Lord North's threat to bring America to his feet. Sergeant William Jasper saved this flag when it was shot down at Fort Sullivan, exclaiming as he did, "We cannot fight without a flag." The crescent was the insignia used on the capes of General Moultrie and his men in the first defeat of the British naval force for many, many years. It soon seemed necessary to provide one flag for 13 colonies. Due to this situation, the Grand Union flag, with its field of 13 alternates red and white stripes, expressing the unity of thought in all the colonies, appeared. The flag was raised by General Washington in Cambridge, Massachusetts, January the 2nd, 1776. It continued, in spite of the Union insignia, to be the flag of the Revolution until the adaptation of the Stars and Stripes of the Continental Congress, June 14, 1777. In the flag made by Betsy Ross, A circle of 13 white stars in a blue field was used so that no colony had preference over any other colony, and was substituted for the British Union on the Cambridge flag. To General Washington, it meant that 13 stripes of red and white represented the 13 colonies which had brought our country through its fight for freedom in the cause of liberty. The first stripes of red indicated honor and valor, as well as the blood which had been spilled to gain that victory. The stripes of white were the symbol of purity and purpose. The field of heavenly blue with 13 stars typified a new constellation in the nations of the world and appealed to Almighty God to guide and protect the United States of America. To this day, we repeat the same appeal to God for help to preserve the liberties won by our forefathers every time the flag is raised. To the original flag of 13 stars and 13 stripes were added 2 additional stars and 2 more stripes when Vermont in 1791 and Kentucky in 1792 joined the Union. It was this 15-star and 15 stripes flag which waved over Fort McHenry when the British fleet attacked Baltimore in 1814. Francis Scott Key was held on board a British ship as a hostage, and as he anxiously awaited news of the outcome of the battle, he wrote the Star-Spangled Banner, which in 1931 was made by Congress the official national anthem. Ironically, the tune is of British origin. It was soon found that it would be feasible to add a stripe and star, would not be feasible to add a stripe and star for every state which entered the Union. So the original 13 stripes were decided on, with the additional star for each new state. New stars were added on the 4th of July following the new states' admissions. The date of this flag is the date of the ratification of the Constitution of Texas by the Mexican government. When Mexico repealed the Constitution, the Texans declared their independence. They devised this Alamo flag, which is the Mexican flag without the emblem. Under this flag, the Texans were defeated at the Alamo in 1836, but avenged at San Jacinto the following April. In California, the settlers revolted from the Mexican government in June 1846 to establish the California Republic. These hardy pioneers brought the state into the Union in 1850. The flag of the Republic is today the California state flag. In 1861, the shadow of war crossed our nation. The unity of our country was at stake, and another flag was disclosed in the battlefield. After the Battle of Bull Run, where the leaders of the Confederate forces had difficulty distinguishing the stars and bars of their forces from the stars and stripes of the Federal forces, General Beauregard designed this famous battle flag of the Confederacy. No mere piece of writing. Men have died and suffered for every stripe, and women have shed their tears for every star. Every device of Old Glory and other national emblems mean that countless thousands have made visual their ideals to give us a banner to follow. Our American flag, what a beautiful and glorious thing it is. The red and white stripes standing side by side mean the close union of our states. It's founded by the original colonies, and in that union lies our strength. The position each star tells when a gallant and sovereign state joins the Union, a state carved from the wilderness with the sweat, toil, and privation of her sons and daughters. Our flag tells our history to our people down through the ages. But we must remember that our flag asks as well as gives. Cherish me as I have been handed down to you. And so long as our country is comprised of patriots like the men at Valley Forge, there will always be real meaning to the wonderful, solemn words of our Pledge of Allegiance. Now, if you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then afterwards, singing God Bless America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Loudly, like a beat. God bless America. That concludes our program. I thank all of the dames that were flag bearers.